this generation and the amount of people that are in life right now, you don't need to. Your child does not have to come from your womb anymore.
Right.
Your child can come from anybody. Hi you guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Oyinza. Hey,
Katrina, also known as Coco.
I call her Cokes.
Hi everybody.
Because she's my personal Cokes. Anyway, yeah, so today we're discussing marriage, and I'm not sure what the trajectory of our discussion is, but it's really about marriage, to be married or not to be married, or what does it mean to be married now, or do we need marriage now? I don't know. And societal standard of getting married at the age of 25 is that
That's for your culture.
Yes.
Yeah,
First of all, she's American. Wait.
Hey.
Yeah, you're American.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah. So she's American. I'm Nigerian. We have our differences. So we're gonna talk about marriage from her perspective and what she, what marriage is like in her culture and what marriage is like in my culture, and the what do I say, good and bad? Okay, not good and bad, just
and then
marriage. And in my culture, which is the Nigerian culture, at 25 you should be married. We don't care what your status is, your financial status, wherever you get the man from, it doesn't matter. At 25, you should be married and you should have a child. In my culture, people expect that when you're the older 20s and you're in your 30s, they actually shame you for it. Yeah. They actually shame you, like, oh, there's this one thing we say, oh, you are going to Shiloh. That's that's like this prayer. How do I say it? Oh my god, this is the problem with culture.
The cultural differences.
Yes, like that you can't explain.
You're an old maid. It's the equivalent to the American version of the old maid.
Right, and then they're like, oh, you go to Shiloh and start praying for a man. And Shiloh is like this place where you go for a spiritual healing.
In American culture, it's like you should at least have a child by 30. With science, it's almost possible to do anything.
Yeah.
So it's like, even if you don't birth a child, which I know people say it's not the same feeling and you don't get the same fulfillment, and I understand that, but also I've never been a person who's adopted a child. So I don't know for a fact for myself if it's the same feeling of giving birth to a child. So it's like, some people, they say, okay, I'm happy not birthing children, and some people are not happy not giving birth to a child. I don't know that feeling yet.
But isn't that society, though, making you feel like you're not complete for not having a child?
Well, yeah, that's normal. That's
I really do not care for having a marriage right now and a child. But biologically, as a woman, you should, yes, think of having a child at 25 to, like, a first child at between 25 and 32.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, if I'm over 25, yeah, and right now I'm saying, I don't really care for that. I'm not feeling the pressure. Everybody's getting married, but not me. I'm not feeling the pressure. But I'm reading these things about, oh, wait, you should have your first child. And I'm like, well, yeah, that's true, too. But, like, so should I just do marriage and kids because I should, or
because you want to?
Because I want to, which I feel like, oh, I should do marriage because I want to, because I feel like I've gotten to that stage of my life. But I'm getting this pressure from, family members saying, oh, well, where's your husband, or where's your man? And then society, like, every other weekend, somebody I knew from school is getting married. And it's like, school, okay, shit.
Family, friends.
Yeah, and having babies.
Neighbors.
And then, and it's like, I guess I'm gonna do it.
We keep making marriage and children synonymous. And we forgot that in this day and age, it's not really anymore. Because people realize, like, you could just have a child and not be married, or you could have a child.
Do we really need to have children though? We're like 7.5 billion and almost 8 billion. We're starting to ruin the earth. So do we really need to have a child? Is it low-code to think about not having a child?
No, I don't think it's that crazy. That's what I'm saying. But I mean, that's for you.
Yeah.
You don't have children. For me, I've always wanted to be married, have children,
So
take care
you've
of a
always
family.
wanted it.
Yes.
So you knew you wanted. So society didn't influence that choice. I mean, there is.
I'm sure.
influence
I was
a
gonna say,
bit,
I'm sure that
but-
society did in some way. You know, that nature versus nurture kind of thing.
Mhm.
But like,
But I
well,
grew
no,
up
you
in
know
a
what?
culture where
If you talk to Dad, he'll say like, "Oh,
Yeah,
remember you
like-
didn't want children when you were younger. You wanted to do this, you wanted to do that." And then I became of age, and I
Mhm.
felt like a woman, and it was like, yeah, I want to do all the stuff that women's bodies do, like birth children,
that's true.
because it's just the way that I know, and because I can. Like, there's women out there who can't, who physically cannot have children. And I always said to myself, even if I couldn't, I still wanted to raise children. Some of my background, I've been married, I've been divorced, I've found actual love after being married. And and it's kind of weird because you're supposed to be married and stay forever and all that kind of thing. Which
we need to address that. Too. Do we really need to stay forever? Like
in my culture, in the Jamaican side of my culture, that is the
Yeah.
normal thing to do. I know people who are married, and that man and that woman do not like each other, or they don't spend time together. They can't hold a conversation, but they are legally married, and they feel like it's better than the person who's single, just because it's what society wants.
what?
I know people who are literally miserable in their households, but that's what society. That's what their social construct
Oh.
tells them that they need to do. So they do it, and then they stay forever. And for me, I didn't want to stay forever.
You mentioned
About being
something-
married and staying miserable just because you're married and you can say, I have a ring and I'm his wife.
Ugh, that is disgusting.
But it's
But-
life.
Well, wait, at something
And it's so
really,
popular in our culture, especially like in Jamaican culture, it's super popular to just be married just because you can say you're married. I don't know if you guys deal with that, but I don't know.
They
I don't
did
know a lot
deal
of
with
people.
that. I don't know about now if people are still going through that nonsense.
Like,
but
I don't
people
know.
did
do that when like
I can't think of anybody in that side of my family who's divorced. Me, I'm shame. Oh, I shame the family. And I'm so happy now.
yo,
So happy
you
now.
gotta do things for your happiness.
Seeing people go and have children
Mhm.
really young,
Mm-hmm.
and then have multiple children, and then you see women who like try to take their time and plan things out and waited later on,
Wait, yeah.
and then they end up being disappointed because they may have waited too long. You know what I mean? And then they don't
But then
realize
if
that
nature
there's
is
time
doing that
because-
to you, that means we should be married at 25 till 35. It means that if nature is like that.
Yeah,
And
then that's
there's
probably
no-
why your culture enforces it. Like, yeah, hurry up and do it, because I know at a certain point your body's gonna stop wanting it.
So even if you feel like, oh, I have, okay, although I know that women have the right to be like, oh, I don't want a child at
Yeah.
all. But like, you remember what we were saying? What I wanted at 20 wasn't what I want now. I'm not even 30 yet, but
Yeah.
it's changed.
And
So
I
from
am.
now, so from now till 40, when my eggs are dried, what if then I want kids? So
But that's
it's
the
like
thing.
maybe I should listen to the pressure of society.
No, like I said earlier in the video, science is here, and it's like, I don't think you should be ashamed of it.
Mhm.
I just say, like we talked about earlier, adopting children,
Mhm.
helping foster children, those kinds of things. I think those things are great. Like, that's a greater sense of,
Being.
yes, than like, even you could say, than having your own child.
But people
Right?
don't say that.
Yeah, a lot of people
Especially a
don't,
lot
but
of
you see there are
Africans.
people out there who have children and then they can't take care of them. Not like the child is sick or something happened to them and they're just like, you know, something like the child can't live a comfortable life, but more of like the person just wasn't ready or they weren't set. Like we were saying earlier, people might have a child when they're younger. If a girl who's 17 has a child and you meet a woman who's 40 and she has no children,
Mhm.
that girl might be able to make that connection, and this woman could help her raise that child, or this woman could raise that child for her. She might not be ready. Not in this society. It's not normal to have a child when you're 17. Nothing is set up for you to be comfortable having a child at 17. So maybe that's the thing. Maybe
And-
that's where those older women need to go
And
back
that's
into the
that-
younger generation.
That's my mentality as well. Like, that's why we're a lot. That's why there are women at 40 that can't have kids, and there are girls at this is gonna sound controversial, but there are girls at 17 who are having kids, and I feel like maybe that's what God is trying to do. Now, I don't mean a Christian God or Allah, but like God or universe or nature is trying to do. Like, yeah,
Mother
right?
Nature.
Yes, exactly. Like, it's making you have that, I don't want to say problem, but for lack of a better word, you're having that problem, and then, balancing it out for this person that has, I have a child and that's a problem for me. You don't have a child and that's a problem for you. And that's why we're meant to be interdependent.
Yes.
And that's my mentality. But people, when I start saying things like, oh, I don't think I want to have my child, I'm just going to go adopt like 5 kids. Yeah. Or, okay, if I'm not going to have my child, I could donate my eggs. If it's DNA, that, oh, your DNA is not going to go to the next generation. Well, I could give my eggs to some family who wants my child. Like, this generation and the amount of people that are in life right now, you don't need to, your child does not have to come from your womb anymore. Right. Your child can come from anybody, and that's how I think. Marriage is a social construct. But by what we're saying now, like, oh, nature makes a woman eggs dry up, blah, 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 blah. So the social construct was in place for that.
Like, to guide you.
To guide you. Like, oh, hey, you don't know. But
it's
like, 25, your eggs are going to dry. So all social constructs are not bad, are they?
I don't think they are. I think it's for each individual to decide if they want to follow tradition or not.
And they're allowed to not do that.
Yes, and I think it's okay for people to not follow tradition. I think it's okay for people to not stick with their culture. I just think it's for that person, just not for me. Me personally, I never want to leave my culture, and I love the traditions that come with it. I just think that it's okay when people decide they don't want to.
I feel like I'm even gonna have babies just for my parents because they keep saying things like,
like, when are you gonna have babies?
Okay, all right, yeah, you go.
I don't think it's that. The thing is, the only reason I say I don't think that you're ditching your culture is because you haven't made any decision yet. You haven't gotten past the point where you're not past the point of no return. So it's like you have an idea of what you want and what you like and what you want to do, but you haven't gotten to the end point yet. You're not 35. You're not 40. You're not 42. People have babies, yes, and I know someone out there will say, oh, women can have babies past 35. Women can have babies past 40. That's great, but we all know the reality of trying to have your first child past 40 is a really low percentage rate for success. And I just think that just to be realistic, you haven't gotten to that point yet. And it's okay to not know what you want to do at this very moment. I got married when I was like 20-something. And I was like super young, like just out of school, got married, had children, hated the marriage. Didn't hate the person, hated the marriage. We got divorced. I found love, like actual love. And that was when I realized, like, oh, the ring had nothing to do with the connection.
Oh, I knew that way before.
I didn't, because for me, the promise for marriage was the promise. Yeah. Like, that was in my head, like the way that I thought of marriage. It was, okay, so this ring, this paperwork, it means that there's a promise of forever. So I'm making that promise, and you're making the same promise. So we must be on the same page, right? Wrong. So
that never struck me as a thing anyway. Like, oh, because there's a ring on my finger, now I'm yours. Like, for me, I just never thought of life like that. Like, my grandparents didn't do that.
I would love to have that party, but we're not at a point
I feel like my wedding
is.
I feel like my wedding is just because I can, not because I think it symbolizes anything. If I do have a wedding,
and see, that's the problem. For me, I thought that that's what marriage was supposed to mean. It was supposed to be the symbolization of this promise of forever. So for me, it was. For him, it obviously was.
It wasn't.
Yes. So that's where the real problem came in. The thing is, eventually, after moving on, finding a new relationship, finding a new partner, it's like, wow, I was going to miss this. I was going to miss all this happiness, all this goodness, this companionship. because I thought something else meant that I was going to get this, what I have now.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So that was where I kind of had that realization.
Yeah, and that what you just said here is another reason why I don't fancy marriage like that. I don't believe in a soulmate. I feel like you can love different people at different times.
Yes.
So the fact that, oh, I'm married to this one person for the rest of my life just doesn't sound normal to me. I know that that's funny to say. It just doesn't
It's
sound
not funny.
normal to me.
That sounds more normal than the monogamy. For men, I think men have a different issue. Like,
yeah, I can.
they have a different issue because they're biologically, they can literally love and implant love into multiple women at the same time.
It's my youth that's telling me, oh, you're young and you're fine, and you could just go out there and be with whoever you want to be with, and you don't have to stick to one person.
Yeah, but I think the whole point of your actual body saying like, okay, you can go out, like your mental saying you can go out, you can be with whoever you want, you can date people, you can talk to people, you can call a guy, you can not call him. It's because you're trying to select who you will stay with forever, or if you want to stay with someone forever. But you have to go through that selection process. It's not possible to just say, spin a wheel and just pick a guy and stay there forever. Yeah, and you can do that. Like, you can spin a wheel and pick a guy and stay there forever. Not to say that you'll be happy.
I mean,
but you can stay forever.
Back when I think my
Arranged
grandparents, they were arranged and they did stay forever.
Again, that's a cultural thing, and I think that arranged marriage is a very good thing to a certain
Me too.
point. Yeah, I think it's a very good thing. It's
marriage today is, oh, I love you and this is my symbol of love.
Yes.
This marriage is to show you that I want to be with you forever.
And they forget that marriage is actually a business contract.
No, wait. I understand that. But I'm saying we're starting to redefine it.
No. The marriage license is still the exact same wording. And that's what I'm saying about marriage, is that it is literally a business contract. That's why divorce was so friggin' difficult. Because I entered into a bad business contract. And now you have to go find a lawyer to help you get out of that bad contract. It's depending on who you're dealing with. They're looking for like that lovey-dovey, oh, this is love. Well, then you don't need a paper contract to say you love someone.
Thank you. And that's another thing too that I'm saying. Like, everybody wants to get married out of love. Do we really have to do that? No. I can't. Listen, let's say, all right, for me now, like, a lot of things that I used to see myself as is changing. I understand that, oh, this is my weakness. This is something I'm not ready to pursue. But I'm going to go choose a man who likes doing that. And I'm going to marry that man so we can have a balance. Exactly. Why is that wrong? And why do people frown on that?
Because,
you see what I'm saying?
Because now you're getting into American culture, European culture, Western culture.
How's that European?
Because that was not an African cultural thing to do, is shame the woman who's the homemaker. Did you know the homemaker used to be an actual occupation?
And I don't know why we're shaming that, because it's a good thing.
It's a very good thing.
It's a very good thing. That's why kids are depressed these days. There's no interdependence.
They don't know
There's no
the
community.
Nurturer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because that's what. Well, I wouldn't say a woman, but that's what we are supposed to do. We're supposed to make a home and make a community. Now, if everybody's going
okay to say women. I feel bad for people who don't have a choice when it comes to staying home with their children.
That's
I don't
true.
like, if you want to go to work and you have children, that's fine. That's your choice. If you want to stay home and you have children, that's fine. That's your choice. I feel bad for people who don't have the option.
Which is why you shouldn't shame people that are choosing men that can afford that life.
Because that's who you're supposed to choose in the first place.
And like, oh, I'm strategizing, I'm planning my life, and I'm choosing you because you seem like, out of all the men that I have, tried to pick, you're the one who fits perfectly with what I want.
Right.
So why is that frowned upon? And that was what they used to do back in the day. I was
going to say that. I was about to go back to the same thing.
So seriously, I just feel like maybe this progressive thinking that we think we have is not quite progressive then anyway.
You choose this connection for for strategy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you think this is the best strategy to get to where you want. And where you want to be is your idea of success, your personal idea of success. Now, if you choose another person who has a similar idea of success, that's a great thing.
That's a great thing, you know. And there are men that do feel like, oh, it's an honor to have a woman raise his kids, you know, as opposed to, oh, my wife is also going to work, she's also making $6 billion.
Yeah.
And some guys don't care about
and
that.
there's some guys out there who want the
that.
same thing.
Yeah.
And
So,
there are some
like,
women who want that. So I think those two people should go and be together.
Exactly, and nobody should frown upon anybody for choosing what they want.
Those women are insecure in how they feel about themselves.
Because they're like, oh, she's setting people backwards.
No,
she's setting women backwards.
She's not setting women backwards. She's doing what she believes is best
It's
for her
best
family.
for her family.
Not you or
And
some stranger watching her on TV.
And the fact that she chose that life, that's what feminism is about anyway.
That's what they said it was about.
But that's what it's supposed to be about.
Yeah.
Because it's whatever I choose, I have the right to choose it. That's what feminism is, isn't it?
I'm a black woman in America. Feminism has nothing to do with me. Being black is still a difficult thing in America.
But okay, what about in black culture?
So feminism in black culture, that's different than just saying feminism.
Okay,
I'm not fighting.
So I'm supposed to say black feminism.
I guess you can make up your own calls.
Okay.
They made up their own calls. You can say black feminism.
Okay,
I don't know. I don't
okay.
care.
Okay.
I think that we as a people need to focus on our cultures and our traditions
Instead
and what
of
we want as our
adopting.
standards of society.
A lot of women are starting to say, oh, I don't want to be married. I want to have it out. Why are you laughing?
I'm listening.
Yeah. So I want to have a child without her husband. And even the black British people too are saying that too. And I read it somewhere under the comments where, oh, these British people are starting to adopt the American mindset.
Yeah.
Is it an American thing to have a child without a husband?
It might be something that they know us for around the world.
Okay.
Like, American people have babies out of wedlock. But then when they say without a husband, do they mean without a partner? Do they mean artificial insemination? Do they mean sperm donor? Do they mean I have a man and we love each other very much and we are a team and we are a pair, we are a couple, but we're not doing paper marriage? You know what I mean? So there's so many different aspects to that.
Yeah, but I think it's about just the woman being on her own, and then
I don't think there's a reason for that.
Then just having a baby because I'm rich, I can have a child without a husband. I'm a strong black woman who don't need no man. Oh my God! I remember when I first came down here too. I was like, yes, I'm a strong black woman.
Like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah, at some point I'm like, oh no, I was
like,
mistaken.
When they say they want to have a child without a husband, do they mean without a partner to balance out the energy in the household, or do they just mean I'll have the partner, but I don't want a marriage?
I don't know.
You know, that's where it gets difficult, because one is a thing for some people, and one is not. So I think it's difficult to go out there and say, yeah, I'm just going to have some kids by myself. I think that's the stupidest thing ever. That's my personal belief, my personal thought, has nothing to do with Oyinda's page. I think that's the stupidest thing ever. Because if that were possible in nature, you wouldn't need the man's donation at all.
No, you make a very valid point. If you do not need a man, then why do you need the man to create the child?
Right. And that's the thing, again, like when we talk about science, you still need that male donation.
If we're keeping at the baseline, like, oh, this is what nature asks for, and this is how it's supposed to be, then the fact that a woman is choosing not to have a child and, you know, waiting until she's 40 to get, like, someone else's eggs, that's not natural, is it?
No, it's science.
But we said it was okay.
What, for them to borrow babies from someone?
Yeah.
No, I think it's okay to take children that are already here and raise them.
You don't believe in IVF and stuff like that?
I know people do it, but it's not my personal choice. It's not something that I would encourage. I think
Why
because they're already children who are here. Let me go see if I can help somebody who already went through this. But I know that as women...
But I don't know why people frown on that.
I'm about to tell you why.
Oh, okay.
Because as women, they're going to say that the feeling of having a child, delivering a child, whatever, going through labor, going through pregnancy.
Why would you want to do that anyway when your stomach just gets bigger and you
That's
get...
not true.
It's true.
I've
seen a lot of pictures.
Am I not
It
a
might
good
not.
model for a woman who's giving birth to 3 children?
3 kids, y'all. And she looks
and
younger than me.
And I play carnival every year. Sometimes more than once.
But there are some women that maybe they allow themselves to be like, no,
Yes.
but no. There's some women that have loose skin on their belly and then it never goes back to normal.
And that comes from the way you eat and the way you exercise, the way you deal with your body.
It's not just nature, real nature.
No.
I'm not supposed to say that.
It's not. I'm telling you, most women who have those issues is because of something that we're doing that's not right.
That's not right. I'm gonna take that finished product.
Yeah, like
No, really.
as
because-
adoption.
Yeah. Like,
Right.
how much for this baby? A lot of Americans are starting to want to be married. But they were the one, they were the one that started the whole, you don't have to be married. A lot of Nigerians, that's what I was trying to say. A lot of Nigerians are not, it's not a lot, a few. But a lot of Nigerians are still getting married at 25. You know? But like a few of them are like, I don't need the ring to have a family. I don't, but like a lot of Americans are starting to like adore that ring. And
The representation.
I did hear that American women don't be getting married and that good stuff. But now American women are like,
So
yes, put the ring.
that's the thing. It's not that Black American women don't get married. It's just that that's the popular thing to say. That's a stereotype that they've made popular around the world. So you got to remember, like I said, everything keeps coming back to race. It's always going to go back to race.
And that's
in
one
America.
thing that I had a problem with in America. Everything is about race.
Because look
Everything
at the
about
way the
race.
country was structured.
Yeah,
So
and
that's
I'm
why.
like,
Now
bro,
you understand why. It's probably annoying as hell.
as
But imagine
hell.
being it.
Yeah, I definitely get it. But the truth is, I removed myself from the American culture because of that. I don't understand this. This is supposed to be America, first world country. Everything is supposed to be progressive. And then when I came here, I saw, wow, what?
Like, what happened to y'all?
Yeah. So I was just like, nah. Should we get married or not? But we didn't say anything specific though.
Because I don't think that you have to. I think that's for each individual person.
To decide.
I think you make that decision.
Right.
There is a hierarchy in the house. It's just is able to change depending on what's going on. So like when I go home, I cook. When we're both home together on Sundays, he helps me cook. But usually during the week, he's not helping me cook. He works longer than I do anyway. And I'm going to go home. I'm going to take the children home. I'm going to get them
And you
situated.
believe that the structure should be like that.
Yeah, I love it. It works out great for me. But the person who wants the like hardcore, let's both go, like tear down corporate America and collect all the money for ourselves, those two people will have a different idea of life. Whereas we're more calm and relaxed and natural. And I don't really care to like compete like out there in that world. I'm more satisfied
I'm starting
with...
to get there too, because when I was much younger, I wanted to be like, oh no, I'm gonna be at every seminar, how to get it. You can have it all. But like now that I'm getting older, it's like, really? Do I want to do that?
Yeah, because you realize that thing wasn't the thing that makes you happy.
It wasn't.
And some people, that's
But
their
see,
thing.
But that's what I'm saying. Like when I was younger, go and make money was what was going on in my society, and I was like, okay, I guess that's what I should do.
I'll go
But
do.
now it's the same thing with the marriage thing. My society's getting married, and now I'm saying maybe I should do it. And then I'll get to 40, and I'm like, you should get married when you want to get married, and women shouldn't be pressured or shouldn't feel that pressure of getting married at 25. It doesn't make any sense. You figured
The men
it
are so
out
lucky.
at 25. I know.
The men are so
I
lucky.
know. Like, why did God do that though?
Except in Caribbean culture, if you see a man and he's 40 and he doesn't have children, you're like, what's wrong with him?
Oh, well, we have that too.
Yeah.
We
Like,
do,
maybe something's off.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean that something's off.
Yeah.
He may not want to have children, or maybe he didn't find.
In
the
the
person
Nigerian culture, is about 35 and older.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
It's like,
What's
maybe it doesn't work.
Maybe it's gay. We would say that. maybe it's gay. Maybe it's sterile or something like that.
And that's the thing, it's like, it's so messed up. It's like, is it really that bad if the person is sterile or if the woman is barren?
But do you think society can get better from what it is now? Or this is what we're going to deal with in the generation to come, This is it. We're going to pressure people to do things. And we're going to... Do you think we can ever get to that? Oh, it's 40 and he doesn't have a child. Fine.
I don't know. Because I don't know that... See, that's the thing. I don't know. Because for me... That's not good.
What's not good?
To not populate.
Okay.
I think repopulation is the key to life. I'm saying that figuratively and literally.
But climate change is about to kill all of us. What are we burning the child for?
No,
the one is
the climate change is because
itself.
we all said probably 40 years ago.
And then you are populating more people that will ruin the planet.
No, I'm not a stay-at-home mom who can homeschool the children and pick food off the land that we live on. So I have to get in a car to get the children to their school, drop them at their school, get myself to my job, and then get back in time before I'm late and have to pay late fees for picking the children up late. I can't ride a bicycle. 3 children don't fit on the bicycle with me.
So why should we have kids then? If kids are making you have a car, which is ruining the planet.
It's not the children who are making it that way. It's my society who told me I had to take them to a building, to a school, and then I have to pay this much for a house, and we have to live here, and we have to go there.
So you're saying that we don't have to take kids to school?
If I lived on the land, then I'd be good.
So now you're asking society to revert what we've done.
No, I'm not. I don't ask anybody for anything. I'm just saying, if you want to, like me, my ideal life would be just like living in a nice space, on a nice piece of land, nice fertile piece of land.
Mm-hmm. I didn't understand community or family before, but like as an adult and I started to observe more, I said, oh, this is important. Mm-hmm. But then I also think exploring and taking up space is important too. So I feel like people should spread out. There are things that I do believe in that it's very opposite. It's the exact opposite of what my family believe in, right. And that's the essence of having your own space, to be able to build that person that you are, as opposed to always carrying that family along. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Like
no,
like in a family, the way what you identify with, the things that you believe in as a family is there. So because you're from this family, this is why you're like this. Okay. This is why you believe this. You see what I'm trying to say? Mm-hmm. So now if I'm starting to have this different thought processes and mentality, if I'm in this space though, it's going to be harder for me to establish that, as opposed to having my own space.
You need to find other people who think like you. That's what you're saying?
That's what I'm saying. So you have to get out of this tribe. Although you respect and love this tribe.
But it might not be that you have to get out of the tribe specifically. Mm-hmm. There may be other people who think like you.
Mm-hmm. In the tribe?
Yeah. You
and
just don't know.
Get ourselves out. No, but I do
really
believe in taking up space though. You know, I have cousins that are in London. We are here, and we have cousins that are in Nigeria. I like that. Oh, my child has never been out of America before. And hey, go hang out with your uncle and learn about that culture or that place. Like, open your mind and expand your knowledge, you know, just multiply. I like that. That's what I see as taking up space. I see it as multiplying. And when the Bible says, oh, go out there and multiply, I don't believe that it's just kids. Like, just go and make kids. I feel like go and expand and go and give yourself, go be of service, go and multiply. You know, I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, because you're saying that it's not that it's literal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the Bible isn't literal. So we've come to the end of this, chit chat, this talk. Comment below, do you like this setting of us facing each other, or did you like what me and Cindy did? Like, you know, in your face, or do you like the fact that we're discussing?
Actually having a conversation?
We're having that conversation. And if this whatever you think of this conversation, let me know too. Comment down below, and please subscribe, like, comment, subscribe, share.
Yeah.
Because people don't want to be sharing.
That's a big thing too.
Sure. Let people watch the video so they can give comments as well. Thank you so much for watching, and have a...
It's nice meeting you.